recorded, and we'll have it posted to our Let's Talk library on our website, and I will send it out to everyone who's registered as well. So just a couple of resources that the WCWB offers. One of our amazing resources is our BEST program, the Business Enterprise Startup Training. It's an 8-week course. Our next one starts January 19th. It'll be held in the evenings now, every Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30. And you'll receive free access to the business plan application called Live Plan, and it's going to help you write your comprehensive business plan throughout the course. Our CPNI program manager, Sean Moore, is the one that has written the curriculum and teaches this course. It's really amazing. It's $395 for the entire course. That includes the subscription to Live Plan. You can reach out to me or our administrative specialist to get more information, and we can help you out with payment plans or the registration process. The WCWB also offers no-cost coaching. You can schedule up to 1-hour coaching sessions with each coach per week at completely no cost. Coaching topics can include startup assistance, business plan writing, marketing operations, and we have an amazing CPA coach that can help you with accounting and finances. The WCWB is located in the Thurston EDC and CBNI, which is in the SPSCC Lacey campus. In the Thurston EDC, we have quite a few partner organizations that assist our entrepreneurs and small business owners at various stages and aspects of their business journey. The SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, provides free business counseling to organizations. They're typically working with people who are in their earlier stages of business development. And then we also work with the Washington PTAC, which is the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. That is a mouthful, and they help organizations to contract with city, state, and federal government. So if you're thinking that you have a product or a service that you would like to sell to the government, PTAC helps you do those contracts. All right. We also offer a SCORE mentorship program. This is typically offered by retired business individuals that have a varying in different expertises. They can help you out with all different types of topics. And we also have our version of Shark Tank, which we call Think. It's a group of 40 local investors that are interested in investing in local Washington businesses. So just like on Shark Tank, you would pitch your business idea to the group of investors, and in return, they ask you questions. They're typically looking for businesses that have high growth potential. And located in St. Martin's campus is a Lacey Makerspace. We like to call it the Inventors Workshop. You can check out their memberships on their website. They have a ton of tools that you wouldn't typically get access to. You can go in there to get creative personally, or you can use it to create prototypes. So that's a really cool resource as well. If you're interested in pursuing any more of our programs at the WCWB, you can shoot us an email, visit the website. We have all of our webinars and programs updated on our calendar, and feel free to give us a call as well. And without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to Jeanie. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here today. And I also have a PowerPoint that I want to share with you, but I want to tell you a little bit about my business experience. My first business we started in 2005, and it was a little shaved ice shack out in the middle of nowhere. I live in Utah, and we had this new city that they were building called Eagle Mountain. And when I moved out there, I'm like, well, it's kind of like country living because I grew up in Washington on a dairy farm, and my nearest neighbor was about 3 miles away. And so then I moved to the city, went to college at the University of Utah, and I absolutely love the country. So I moved out there, but there was nothing. And so I'm like, let's start a business. And it did very, very well. And then I've also done quite a bit of real estate investing with my husband as well. And then now I'm a professional speaker, 2-time best-selling author and mentor. And so I've had the privilege of running 4 businesses, 2 by myself, and then 2 with my husband. And I just feel so blessed. And I am so grateful to be here today to help you ladies get the next step. And something that I had some real difficulties with, and that was that little bully right here. There's a lot of time spent on external bullies and what people say to us and how to react to that, but not a lot of time is given to the one that lives in our own mind. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I also have a PowerPoint presentation, but I have to let you know that you've got to get ready. Grab your pen, grab your pencil, and we are going to listen to some music, all right? So I'm going to play part of this song. I won't play the whole song, but I'm going to give you just a second. Grab your pen, grab your paper, and get up out of your seat and start to move. And I forgot to do the share the audio so that you can hear it. I'm sorry, just too excited. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Get up and move your body.
Life will never be life will never be the same.
Come on, move.
Time is getting cold. What is going on?
Okay. Oops, it started. All right. So that is just a little bit to get you started, get you excited, get you going, and get you ready for today. I've been working with Tony Robbins and his team for some time now, and it's all about getting into peak state. And you learn, and then you process the information, and you process the information the way you learn. And so if you learn in a sleepy state, and you're not really doing anything, guess what? Then you perform the same way. So I'm inviting you, sit up, pull your shoulders back, put a smile on your face and say, I'm ready, Jeanie. I'm ready. You can raise your hand and say, I'm ready, or whatever. Type it in the chat. This is going to be a very interactive class because I was a high school teacher at an alternative high for a lot of years, for in fact 15 years before I transitioned to the stage. And so I like a lot of interactions that I know that you're not sleeping. So chat is great. And I know that Robin will be monitoring that. So if you have questions, ask as we go along, and Robin can bump in and say, hey, so-and-so has a question, because I don't always look at the chat because I get going and presenting. And I'm going to kind of toot my own horn for just a moment, just because if you see this podcast listened to in 92 countries, man, I remember when I started that podcast and I thought, why am I doing this? Well, because my mentor challenged me to do it. Now I have over 2,000 listeners that listen to, I can't say every episode, but they listen to a bunch of the episodes and they follow me, and it is so incredible. The reason I'm telling you this part, which I wouldn't usually point out in a different setting, but I'm pointing it out to you because I started my business. I took that first step. Now I haven't crossed the finish line yet, but I know that I'm getting closer. And you know what? I may never cross the finish line because my dreams keep getting bigger as I continue to move forward. You see, in elementary school, they told me that I was too stupid. I would never make it through school. I was too stupid. And so to be able to publish a book, oh my gosh, and then have that book become a bestseller, oh my gosh, and then do another one. I'm now working on my 3rd book. It just expands my mind, my dreams. And so I want to encourage you guys to do the same thing. Start. Take that first step, whatever it may be. If you do not take the first step, you will never cross the finish line. It is not possible. So take the first step, however small, however big, take the first step. Whatever action it is that you need to do to get your business rolling or to do the next thing, I invite you to do that. All right? All right. So what I want to talk about now is that we create our habits and then our habits create us. What I mean by that is there's many things that you do that you don't even think about anymore. You tie your shoes or you Velcro them. I remember when I was little, the Velcro came out, but I still learned how to tie my shoes. Or you open the door, you turn on the light, you put on your makeup, you get dressed. All of those things are patterns. And in fact, this morning I did a live video on LinkedIn talking about patterns and how we create our patterns and then our patterns create us. What is your AM routine? What do you do in the morning to get your mind set, to get you ready to go? What do you do in the evening? Get yourself ready to go to bed. We create our habits and then our habits create us. Thinking is one of those habits that we create. Most people don't even think about it. They're not even aware of it. There have been many studies done, and so I'm going to take kind of the conglomeration of them that I studied and put it together and give you my remembering of the facts, okay? I was told that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts. Over 40,000 of them are negative. What? 40,000 thoughts plus are negative? Oh my goodness, how are you going to climb that mountain if you don't have a pattern or a habit created to take care of that bully? Believe me, my first year when I decided to stop teaching and transition to the stage, I was about 3-4 months into it and I'm like, what have I done? Oh my gosh, what have I done? I don't know if you're like that. I don't know if you're like that, type it in there. I feel you, Jeanie. I understand, whatever. Maybe I'm alone. I don't know. But I was freaking out and I've been doing this now for 8 years and I still have those moments of, oh my gosh, what did I do? And so maybe you're like that, maybe you're not. Maybe you just got it locked in and you're rocking and rolling. But I had some problems. And so I learned how to create new habits to help me put my business on autopilot. And I can help you do the same thing. And so I want to show you some things. Now I'm going to draw on this for a minute. Actually, I'm going to start with text. And I want to talk to you about how habits are created. Now, you may have seen this before, and maybe a refresher, maybe something new. It starts with a thought. Now, I did tell you in elementary school that they told me I was too stupid to make it. So there may be some misspellings along here. And so I just want you to know that, I'm going to do the best I can, okay? If I waited until I was perfect to start teaching, I would never, ever teach. And so we just kind of run with it, right? So it starts with a thought. Now, this is the part that most people miss. The thought leads to an emotion. And depending on what that emotion is, we either take action or we talk ourselves out of it. If it's something that I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. I know I can do that. Like start a podcast. I can do that. Now I couldn't guarantee who would listen to it, but I took a class on how to do podcasting. And so I recorded my first podcast and then I put it out there and it's still out there. I don't know if it's still up and live or not, but it's there. And if you want to go listen to me bumble through it, you certainly can. And I have definitely progressed as I have gone along. So you have a thought, then you have an emotion, then you have an action. Then that action can lead to a habit if you repeat it. If you don't repeat it, then there's no habit. After your habit comes your lifestyle. And your lifestyle is what creates your destiny and what you do. This, my friends, is how you put your life on autopilot. you start paying very close attention to the thoughts that you have and the emotion that comes right after. Now, sometimes there's a bit of a space. Sometimes there's not. It just kind of depends on how you've trained yourself. You have a thought, then you have an emotion. My intention today is to help you to become aware of that thought followed by the emotion, because it's the emotion that creates the action or the inaction. So if you can get motivated, if you can take that action step, you're more likely to take the next step. Now, my first book starts with a quote that is, it says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose. And in our choice lies our growth and our freedom. Stimulus, S-T-Y-M-L-I-O-U-S. I don't know. That's a stimulus, okay? And then down here, between stimulus and response, there is this space, all of this space right here. And I get to fill it up with action steps, habits, thoughts, feelings, everything. This space is many times much bigger than you think. Much bigger than you think. All right. What happens is when that emotion comes in, many times our intelligence drops. And so when I get afraid, have you ever had somebody say something to you? And then like 2 hours later, you know exactly what to say? I know I have, right? That perfect thought, you're like, oh my gosh, I know what to say. Come back, I know what to say. Well, what happens is when your emotion is high, your intelligence is low. And so we've got to learn how to kind of drain that emotion off so that we can still think, so that our brain still works properly. And so once you become aware of that emotion, then you can do something about it. If you're not even aware of the emotion, there's nothing that you can do. But once you become aware of it, then you can take action. Pretty cool? Yeah? Okay, give me a thumbs up, shout out, whatever. Is this good stuff? Hope so. The first law of change is realizing that you need to. It's that awareness. Oh my goodness. I was going to record my podcast today. Why didn't I record my podcast? Because I got afraid. I looked into the future and I said, oh, people are going to hate me. People are going to be mad. People are going to say mean things to me. So I didn't record it. When I first started recording my podcast, or when I first started recording videos, when I first started thinking, okay, I need to start marketing and get on some stages, that fear came up over and over and over again. And as soon as I realized, wait a minute, I've rescheduled this twice, what's going on? Fear. Now, recently, I was working with Tony Robbins and his team, and actually he had Pitbull come and sing his new song. And in there, he says, we can face everything and rise. That's what fear stands for. And I love that analogy. Face everything and rise. Now, grab your paper, grab your pencil. I'm going to play a little bit of music, and I want you to answer, what do you wish was different? We're going to take about a minute. What do you wish right now, whatever it is, relationship, in your business, with your clients, bringing clients in, whatever. What do you wish was different? And if you want, you can put them in the chat and I'll be checking those out. Okay. What do you wish was different? So customer traffic marketing. Thank you, Christina, so much for putting it in the chat. I appreciate that. And it is, I am learning so much about marketing. We've been doing that now since 2005. Well, we didn't really market our snow shack. We just put one of those little dancing things out by it, the little balloon things that waves around, and the kids came. And so, but we were the only thing in like 10 miles, 10, 15 miles. So we didn't have to market a lot. We had a blue trailer and a dancing thing. Sometimes I feel like that happens to me, especially at the beginning, not as much now, but in the beginning, I felt like I was standing on the street corner going, hey, pick me, pick me. Does that ever happen to you? It does, doesn't it? And so what we can talk about today is bring in a little bit more, how do I put those things on autopilot so that they just happen? And I'm not afraid of them. They just happen. Would that be useful for you? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we got eliminate inertia, break through the false sense of the mental barriers. Yeah, wish I had my first client and a way to get more. Awesome. We'll definitely go through some of that today. So let's dive back in. And whatever else, if you want to continue to put on there, what else you wish were different, we'll absolutely revisit those, okay? So the first step of change is realizing that you need to change. You've just started doing that a little bit with what do I wish was different. That's starting to realize what you wish and what you want to change. Then you got to make a decision to change. Many times you have to make that decision over and over and over again. Remember when I told you when I started in 2012, in about 3 months, I was like, what have I done? I had to make that decision again that, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm being called to do. I truly feel this is my mission. And so you make that decision and then you decide what action you're going to take. Let's talk just for a moment about marketing, since so many of you talked about that. Marketing is a habit that you do. There's tons of ways. One of my mentors says it's easier than ever to stand up, but it's more difficult than ever to stand out. Because there's so many voices. Everywhere you go, somebody's marketing to you. They're wanting to sell you. So about 6 months ago, I don't know if this happened to you, but it definitely happened to me. All of a sudden, I'm getting all of these emails from everybody wanting me to attend a Zoom meeting, wanting me to attend virtual events, wanting me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody's gone virtual. And it happens as our industry changes. We're kind of like, what do I do? Where do I go? Guess what, my friends? All you need to do is provide value. Provide value. Do the absolute best that you can, and your team will find you. I don't know if you're supposed to talk to 500 people. I don't know if you're supposed to have 500,000 people in your business. I have no idea. But what I do know is God has a plan for you in your business. God has a plan to help you grow it, to help you do whatever you want. All you got to do is listen and move forward. Take that next step. Okay? Take that next step. Whatever it is. Face everything and rise, right? Face everything and rise. So when you first go to raise your hand, whatever it is, and if you want to put some of your businesses in here, then in the chat, then I can absolutely talk directly to those businesses. As of this time, I don't know what your businesses are. So I keep using examples from my businesses. But if you want specific examples for yours, please put them in. So when I first started doing, mentoring, now I didn't start off mentoring people. I started off on the stage. Now I had been a coach for many years. I was a basketball coach for many years, but I didn't start coaching people or mentoring people until later on in my career. In fact, I just started mentoring about 2 years ago. And so when I first started letting people know, hey, I'm here to mentor you, it took me a while to do that. Not because I was afraid, but because I wasn't sure how to say it right. Guess what? I still don't know how to say it right, and I get clients. It comes from the heart. I want to be of service. How can I help you? Oh, awesome. People are saying, okay, business consulting to help teams with software implementation and process improvement. I'm ready for his plan. Love it. Okay. So how do you change? How do you start marketing? Guess what? You realize you need to market. You make the decision to market. Then you decide what action you're going to take. Are you going to use social media? I highly recommend it. Are you going to use phone calls? Are you going to call people directly? Are you going to send out emails? Are you going to take out ads? Are you going to do direct marketing? My friends, direct marketing is making a big comeback. Direct marketing is the postcards that you get in the mail. For a long time, no, it was not a good way to go. But now they're finding a huge increase in people using direct marketing. And then, of course, repeat. You just keep taking that new action and you measure, monitor, and adjust. The same steps for change. You start building that habit and you move it forward. Habit is overcome by habit. So if I create a new habit, it replaces the old habit. Way too many people think that, well, I'll just stop this habit and it'll go away. What happens is that you open up a hole. I'm going to share some things about myself. I used to smoke, and I was a health teacher. I mean, seriously. I also had cancer when I was younger. Seriously? And you're smoking? Yeah, I proved them wrong, right? So anyways, I thought I could just stop smoking. The problem is that many people, when they remove the habit of smoking, they start eating, because that have that habit of the hand coming to the mouth all of the time. So they replaced not smoking with eating. I didn't want to get fat. I didn't want to have that problem. So I replaced the habit of smoking with seeing my boyfriend at that time, now my husband. When you want to change a habit, all you got to do is get leverage. Leverage is something that makes you not want to do it anymore. I call it the carrot and the stick. What's your carrot for making it happen, right? The little donkey plodding along with the stick and the carrot out there, and he's like, oh, the carrot. I'm sure you've seen those posts before. Or sometimes I put the carrot out there, and then sometimes I have to smack myself in the bum with the stick because, you know, it just happens. So when I decided to stop smoking, I made an agreement with myself that I could not see my boyfriend, AKA my husband now. His name was Lawrence. If I had a cigarette, I could not see Lawrence that day at all. Couldn't talk to him, couldn't interact with him in any way, shape, or form. And if I didn't smoke, then I could. And I was at McDonald's. I had some young kids because I had been divorced. And we're at McDonald's and they were playing, and I called him and I said, hey, do you have time to get together? And he says, no, I'm totally swamped. There's no way. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I hung up the phone and I picked up a cigarette and I lit it. And all I did was touch it to my lips. And he calls me back, like bam. And he says, the most amazing thing just happened. My whole schedule just cleared. Can you meet? I had a decision to make. Do I have integrity with myself, or do I see him? And I said, I can't see you today. And he's like, what? And I told him why. And he's like, you're right. Click. And he hung up on me. And I was like, well, whatever. But I have never had a cigarette since that day. We've been married 19 years. We dated for a year. So for the last 20 years, I've never had another cigarette. That was pretty good leverage, huh? And I also still have that rule in place, because about 5 years after we were married, he started truck driving and he was in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, he can't be home tonight. I'm going to have a cigarette. And I thought, no, no, why would I do that? So habits are replaced by habits. Thank you for the congratulations. So what we do in our house is we Snoopy dance. So you'll see me go like this. You see my Snoopy mug, because I don't have any rhythm, but I can dance like peanuts. I'm just saying. So that's how we celebrate here. We do the Snoopy dance. So anytime you want to celebrate, I'm just saying Snoopy dance. Okay? Okay, let's go on. Habit is overcome by habit. What habit do you want to create? What do you want to change? And then what habit do you want to replace that old habit with? Now, I'm sure, well, I'm hoping, if you haven't, you must read the book, Think and Grow Rich. If you're in business and you have not read this book yet, you've got to get this book. This book is absolutely phenomenal. I've read it 4 times now, and I'm thinking I should probably read it again. It is, yes, it was written a while ago, and it is still absolutely pertinent to today. In there, he has a bunch of steps, but he specifically highlights 5 of those steps. I'm going to go over 2 of them today. This is the first one. The first one is knowing that you have the ability to achieve it. My friends, if you have been called to share something, it's because you have the ability. If you have the desire in you, you have the ability to make it happen. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be a piece of cake. You're not just going to walk up and say, thank you very much, and accept. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to do some things to make that happen. And you've got to demand persistent, continuous action. You are going to take 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And it's going to be an up and down kind of a thing. We have a saying in our house that hummingbird steps count too, because some days all you can do is just take that little tiny step. And as long as you take that little tiny step every day, you'll make it. If you believe, if you know that you can do something, you're more likely to do it. If you don't believe in yourself, you're very unlikely to even take the next step. You won't even start. There's no way I can do that. So you won't even start. So start by taming the bully between your ears and building that belief in yourself. And it starts with, I believe in me. I can do this. I have the desire. So that means I can do it. That's as easy as that. And you go, well, wait, Jeanie, it's not that easy. It starts there, right? That's the first step that you take, is believing in you. And then the next step is you start taking that action. You promise right now, I'm going to take that action. And then you promise again and again, and you keep acting. Now, this comes from my first book called Bully Proofing You, Improving Confidence and Personal Value from the Inside Out. And you can get it in many different places. By the grace of God, it became a bestseller. And I'm kind of proud of it. It's the first book I ever wrote, and it has changed thousands of lives all around the world. And pretty impressive. I feel so blessed. That little girl that grew up on the dairy farm in Morton, Washington. I don't know, maybe you guys, some of you may know where Morton, Washington is. I was there when the mountain blew. It changes lives, and it's a message that has come through me to others, and I am so grateful for it. The first part is personal value. It's the foundation upon which everything else builds. And we're going to have time to get through a couple of these, but not all of them. And so we're going to talk right now about personal value. Personal value is what you believe about yourself. Now, discipline, right? We just said, all I do is say, I believe in me. I know that I can do this. Yes, I can. Well, discipline is remembering in that moment of temptation. Well, can I? I don't know. That's temptation. And it's bringing your mind back in focus and moving forward with where you're at so that you can take the next step. The easiest example of this is weight loss. Yes, I'm going through menopause. It's my birthday month. I'm 54 this month, and I'm going through menopause, and I've gained some weight. I also need to watch what I eat. My husband is home full time. I absolutely love it. And we started getting in the habit of going downstairs and watching a movie. And guess what? I like some popcorn and candy with my movies. And so I started gaining weight from menopause and from popcorn and candy. And so I've had to create a new habit to replace the old habit. And temptation comes when I'm getting ready to go watch a movie or I'm getting ready to do something, right? Discipline is remembering what I want. Do I want to eat this popcorn now, or do I want to wait and see if the desire passes? Many times the desire will pass. I have the rule that I can choose. If I choose to wait, I can then choose later to have the popcorn. Many times all I need is that little bit of a space, and that gets me to where I really want to go, and that helps me remember what I want. So when you're tempted with quitting, when you're tempted with, am I really enough? Can I really do this? Yes, my friend, you can. Discipline your mind that when those negative thoughts come in, you say, stop. I love myself. I'm proud of myself. I respect myself. I can do this. I have a mission. I've been called to help people. Make sense? If anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. Let me know. Oh my gosh, Christina, you're from Mossy Rock. Woo, woo, I'm just saying, woo, that's awesome. That's so cool. So my dad still lives in Morton. And when you drive on Highway 12 and you go by that huge painted rock, that farm that's down in the valley, that's where I grew up. That's me as a little kid. Now he sold part of it. He doesn't have the dairy farm anymore. But that's part of, there's 2 farms down there now, but that's cool. Okay. No. Oh, homesick. I'm so homesick. Okay. So discipline is remembering what you want in the moment of temptation. So now I have a blank screen, and what that means is I get to take some questions. I knew we were coming up here on it. So who has some questions? You can type them in and I can unmute you and we can talk face to face if you want. Or you can just say, hey, you know what? Nope, I don't have any questions, and we'll just keep going on with the presentation. Quick recap. What do you want to change? What do you want? Make that decision to change, and then start taking action and do it over and over and over again until it becomes a habit and it replaces the old habit. All righty. This is the second part that I want to let you know about. And I'm just going to read this part. I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture. The reason I want to read this and make sure that you guys get that is because this is talking about visualization. Now, I'm sure that you guys have heard all different things about visualization, you know, how important it is. It really is important. And when I first started learning this, it was in high school, and my coach started having us visualize games. And Martin Washington did a phenomenal job. We had an incredible year that year. And I know that 90% of it is due to visualization because none of the other teams were doing that. I use visualization every day in my business, and it's fun. So Christina, you ask, what is the most important step in business success? This right here, visualization. Write out exactly what you want for your business. How many clients do you want? What do you want? What kind of schedule do you want? Who do you want to work with? How do you want to work with them? Get crystal clear on what it is that you want to do in your business, and then see yourself making it happen. A lot of people forget that see yourself piece. They get caught up in the day-to-day action and they forget to sit back and take. Now, I couldn't do 30 minutes at a time. My brain is all over the place. So I do 5 minutes 6 times a day. And I'll just sit down and for 5 minutes, I'll just sit back and I'll think about, what do I want to do with my mentoring business? What do I want to do with my speaking business? What do I want to do, on the next radio show or the next TV show? What do I want to do? How do I want to engage? How do I want to grow? Because everything starts as a thought first. The house you're living in, the clothes you're wearing, maybe you're wearing jewelry, whatever it is, it all started as somebody's thought that then they took action on and they created it into a reality. Now I have jewelry. It's not real fancy, but it means a lot to me. And on this, my husband bought this for me. It says, believe, dream, and it has a serenity prayer. This is a physical reminder that reminds me to keep moving forward. I also have a ring that says believe, love, care. And that reminds me to stay the course, to hold the line, to keep moving forward, to do what I was born to do. And that is teach. I love teaching. Whatever it is that you love to do it. And you will never work a day in your life. You may have heard some version of that before. I've heard it from many different people. And I love that because I don't like work, but I love teaching. So get a clear mental picture, add colors, add smells, add sounds, make it as vivid as possible and focus on it every day for 30 minutes. And that is how you create a successful business. We're going to talk a little bit about the perspective piece now. Hurt people hurt people. And so when you start building your business and you take your plan, right? You have that vision in your mind and you touch your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spouse, your spouse or your family, whatever. And you go to them and you say, guess what? I'm going to write a book. And they go, you barely made it through school. How are you going to write a book? And you go, oh yeah. I probably shouldn't write a book. But if you know that hurt people, and they say, you're going to say, yeah, me. Because as imperfect as I am, I've still learned so much. And if I can save someone pain and suffering, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to do it because that's what I was made to do. And you take that step and you do it and you hold on to your dream. Don't let anyone walk on your dream. Not even you. Not even you. Hold it and move forward with it. And remember, hurt people. It's not about you. It's about them and their pain. I learned this concept from Amanda Dixon. Amanda Dixon is a very well-known radio host here in Utah. They have over, 5-10 million people that listen to their show. I don't remember. And she said, I received hate email. And I was like, what? Amanda Dixon got hate email? And she's like, but I realized that it was about him and not about me. And she reached out to him and she saved his life. Now I've summarized what she said into hurt people. And when I get those negative thoughts, I remember hurt people. And when I have negative thoughts in my mind, I look for where the pain is. Why am I hurting? Why am I hurting myself? And I move on and I make it better. Because just as hurt people, and I can keep that perspective of it's not about me, it's about them and their pain, then I get to move to the next step, which is healed people, heal people. And as you deal with your pain, as you deal with trauma, everybody has trauma. Everybody has junk that they're trying to deal with, and they deal with it in different ways. And as you learn how to deal with it, then you can heal yourself. Then you can help others. My third book is all about the healing from the bullies that I put up with because of my learning disabilities, because of all of my problems. I'm 6 foot tall. And when you're 6 foot tall in the 8th grade, you kind of stand out. Made me a big target, literally. And so, but I've had to heal. And I've been able to heal as I've worked through those difficulties. You can too. You can too. It just takes a plan and action steps. And as you heal, you can start healing others. And believe me, our world needs healing. It needs healing, my friends. Now, here's some things that you can do for emotional management. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about write and burn. Absolutely love write and burn. Write and burn, and I believe I have a blank screen. Aha. So I'm going to draw this out for you, what write and burn is, because I like the burn part. So I take a piece of paper and I draw a line right down the middle. Ooh, I'm drawing with a mouse, so it's a little bit crooked. I apologize. And then on one side, I write my negative things, my negative emotions. I forgot my O again. I did that earlier. Negoat. I write my negative emotions, thoughts, feelings, all the yuck on the left-hand side. And you may say, well, why the left? Well, because on the left-hand side is the things I want to leave behind. So you're going to write it on the left-hand side. Now, it doesn't matter. There are a lot of times when I can't even read it and I just scribble and I'm all crunchy and I just write it all out. Or you can be nice and you can write it all out nice and, whatever you need to do. Or you can type it. I like to write it on paper because that's better for me, because then I get to tear this page right down the middle, and then I get to take it out and I burn it, right? So I write on this side, I write it out, and then I burn it. And I go out on my back porch and I torch it and I let it go. And then this side is gone. And then on the other side of the page, I write my positive, my gratitude. My gratitude. What am I thankful for? What is all the positive that's going on right now? Positive. Now this, I do take my time and I do write it out because I want it to be nice. And I have a journal that I keep and I write it out and I keep this journal and I read it and I go back and I go through it. And I absolutely love this. And when I do this part, it fills me up. How many of you currently have a journal that you go ahead and put it in the chat? Do you have a journal that you currently, write out, hey, this is what I learned today. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful, because when you put pen to paper and you say, this is what I learned today, then you can repeat it. But if you get to the end of the day and you just fall in bed exhausted, you've just lost a whole day of learning and implementing, and it's much more difficult to measure, monitor, and adjust if you forgot everything that you needed to measure, monitor, and adjust that day. Get a journal and start with gratitude. I am so grateful that I have the opportunity today to share this message with all of you. That will be my first line tonight in my journal, because I absolutely love what I do. Okay, So a lot of you do, some of you take it on your phone, some of you write it on other things, you know, awesome. Good job. Love that. Leanne says, well, maybe I shouldn't say the name. Sorry. Well, I guess this is all, y'all can read the chat, right? Y'all are seeing this. Okay. You know, client confidentiality. Sorry, I got scared. She says, I have one because my professor made it a class requirement. Class is over, but the journal is still in action. Lee and Snoopy dance time. Good for you. Good for you. Yes, very good idea. Get started. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you can put in that journal. I have a bunch of different journals. One of my journals, let me go back. One of my journals is a body journal, a body journal. Women typically hate their body. And guess what? That's the devil's first attack. He gets you to attack your body. Oh, I hate my body. I got pudgy. I got this. I got that. I am learning to love my body at a cellular level. And it feels so good. And it guards my mind. And it helps me protect my heart. Because when I love myself, maybe respect. So I've always called it self-love, and I've been doing a lot of Bible study lately, and I've been meeting with my pastor, and he says self-love is bad. It's self-respect. And so I was like, what do you mean self-love? But see, to me, self-love is self-respect. I also understand what he's saying. If I start loving myself and I get egocentrical and I think I'm the best and nobody else is as good as me, yeah, that's bad. But when I say I'm important and I'm special and I have a voice and I need to be heard and you can take time and listen to me, that is important. That's self-respect. And I need to respect my body because it's the vehicle that houses me, my soul, my thoughts, my beliefs. Respect your body. Write a letter in your journal to your body. Write, dear body, write it out. And then at the end, give some time for your body to write you back. And you're going to write, for me, I wrote, dear Jeanie. And my body told me it was mad at me because for years I'd been mean to it. I told it was ugly, it was stupid, it was blah, 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 blah. And I was like, whoa. And so I said I was sorry. And I've been writing that letter. I do it a few times a year. And now I get nice messages from my body. Not only that, but I'm 54 and I'm pain-free. Not only that, but I'm 54 and I can go for walks whenever I want. I can go skiing. I can go snowshoeing. I can do all of those things that I've loved to do. Now I don't bodybuild anymore, but I do lift weights. But I don't spend 8 hours in the gym anymore. But I can do those things because I love my body and I take care of my body. Love your body. Take care of it. Now I just noticed that we are getting close to the end. And I don't want to hold you guys extra time. So I'm going to wrap up here really quick and just kind of go to this one, give you my email because it's my birthday month and I want to give you a gift. I want you to, let's continue the conversation. Some of those slides you may have seen, your goal is in jeopardy. Your BHAG is in jeopardy of a lesser goal, but a clearly defined path. There are so many things that I would love to continue to share with you, but we are out of time. And unless Robin, I don't know, how much more time do I have? Do I have some time to keep going on?
Yeah, you have a couple of minutes and we have a couple of questions from Meryl.
Okay.
Let's see. Meryl wanted to know, I have to scroll up here through the chat really quick. How did you find your mentor or mentors versus regular business supporters? And then also following up, do you have an online journal app you would recommend?
Okay, so who asked the first question?
Both are from Meryl.
Meryl, is it okay if I unmute you and we have a conversation? Is that okay? So I'm gonna ask you to unmute, and if that's okay with you. Are you
Good
there
morning.
now? Awesome. Good morning. Okay,
I'm
so
off, I'm off the thing because I've got construction going on in my house. So if it's a little
okay.
noisy, I apologize.
That's okay. Isn't it awesome to work from your home? I mean, I miss the
Most of the
travel,
time.
but but I do. I love working from home too. Okay, so you asked, how did I find my mentors?
Yes,
Wow.
I have a variety of what I would call business relationships, accountants, lawyers, people who have good advice and ideas, or even sometimes consultants. But I have yet to find a mentor or two, excluding a paid coach, that I can really connect with. And I really honestly don't know how to find one.
Okay. So first of all, please shoot me an email, Jeanie@JeanieCisco-Meth.com, no hyphen in the email.
Okay.
And I would love to spend some time getting to know you a little bit better and seeing if I might be a fit, or I
Okay.
can recommend some of my mentors to you if I'm not a good fit for you.
Okay.
My first mentors were books because that's all I could afford.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Kiyosaki, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Also actually it's been probably about 6-7 months ago, I read Napoleon Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil. Phenomenal book. Highly, highly recommend it. A lot of thought processes in there. I'm currently reading. So I started with books because that's all I could afford.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, if I really enjoyed a book, then I would Google. The neat thing is we've got the internet. Jump online, Google some of the authors that you like. They've got videos. Blair Singer, love Blair Singer. He's a Rich Dad advisor. I've worked with him personally one-on-one. He has a program called Sales Mastery, and absolutely loved it. So it just kind of depends on who do you click with, who fits with you, who meshes with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are definitely some questions that you'll need to ask. Okay. And you need to go, they need to flow. They need to work with you. Okay. They need to understand your vision and you. And so come up with some questions that would help you understand them and them to understand you.
Okay.
Okay. And then try a bunch out. I truly believe that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That has happened to me so many times.
I haven't thought about the idea of quote unquote test driving
Yeah.
them. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd love to have you test drive me. I really would.
No, thank you. I
Test drive me.
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
So,
I think you asked a question about a journal.
So the online app, I just find particularly those with dysgraphia or some neurodiversity and they're under 30s, they tend to like to do a lot of stuff online on their phones and other things versus writing in the cute journal. Like I have piles of journals that have been started and never finished, and I switched to another one I like. And so I wanted to see if you had a recommendation or knew of somebody about online journal apps, because that's becoming a crowded space now. And I don't want to recommend that to a younger person.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I have clients. My youngest client is 14.
Okay.
My oldest client, she just turned 94, but she was working with me when she was 90
so
to
awesome.
91. And every single one of them, I say, get a journal and a pen.
Okay.
Because there is a very, very unique exercise that happens when it comes from your head and your heart out your arm onto the paper. That is a very unique experience that really, really needs to happen. Now, I know that kids love online and it's okay. They need to write. My son, my youngest, is 22. He has horrible penmanship. They don't even teach it at school anymore.
Right, they don't.
And so it's okay. They have books. I know because I bought one and it was called Love My Handwriting. And it helped him learn how to write better. And there's so much that you can discern from your handwriting. I go back to my old journals and I'll look at, and I'll go, oh, I was scared this day because my writing is really cramped and it's just, you can tell there's fear there. Then there's ones where it's big and looping and opening and I'm like, oh yeah, we were on track that day.
Right.
So I don't recommend online apps. Now other people may, but I don't.
Well, I think a lot of them, there's a bit of the, you know, using both sides of their hands, and they're quickly filling it in to kind of get it done or get it out, because the time seems to be more compressed for them.
Yeah.
They're always in a rush.
And that's part of the problem.
Yes.
It's part of the problem. I know that when I started my business, and Robin, if I'm going over, please just give me a flag and say hush. Part of the problem is that when I started my business, I didn't want to do the visualization thing. I'm a doer. I wanted to get things done. Let's take action. Let's get this going, right? Guess what? We are human beings, not human doers. And we need to just be still and let our mind fill with what we're creating, because that's how we create the next best thing.
No, that's a great way of putting that information to somebody who is trying to go from A to Z directly without necessarily everything in between.
Yeah. I've started cooking, never really liked cooking, but it's teaching me to enjoy the journey, and it's a lot healthier for me. We live in a microwave instant society. If I can't get it right now, then it's not worth it. And that's not true. The best things take time. Redo it, and it gets better every single time. Meryl,
I appreciate that.
So much. Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for jumping on with me. I really appreciate you going live. That makes it so much more fun. So thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen one more time. And if you have any questions or whatever, please shoot me an email, and let's get you guys on my schedule. I can definitely help you. It's absolutely free. It's my gift to you. Let's test drive. I kind of like that idea. Let's test drive and see how I can be of service. Robin, I am complete.
All right. Thank you so much for being here with us. And thanks to all our guests that joined us. Just as a reminder, we have Let's Talk Business on the first and third Thursday of every month at noon. So stay tuned for newsletters and we're just so grateful that you were with us today, Jeanie.
Thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, and you just put your email yes, it's your email address in the chat, so everyone can copy and paste that and make sure they reach out to her.
Sunny, thanks for the hand clap. Woohoo! Love it. Snoopy dance.
Great. So if we don't have any other questions, we will conclude for today. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you next time.